Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. Back working on this SRV Aliexpress Stratocaster, and what I'm gonna be working on today is pulling these inlays out, the fret markers, fret dots. I'm gonna be replacing them with the clay dots, the aged clay dots. So probably today, I'm just going to show you how I pull these out. Also got the tuners ready to go back on, the regular Fender tuners ready to go back on. Kind of done just a little bit of aging to those. You know, nothing extreme, just something to give them just a little bit of wire, just enough to where it didn't look odd having brand new tuners on. So anyway, I thought I'd just show everybody how I remove these inlays, and then we'll get on into this other stuff. So if this is something you're interested in, just stick around. Okay, I hope I've got that set where anybody can see what's going on. The way I remove these inlays is really very simple. Is I just take a small drill bit and just drill straight down through the top. And you can kind of feel it when it goes through. Go ahead and drill another one. It's not that hard to drill. Seems like I'm just really lightly, and also kind of holding the chuck up to where I don't drill through the truss rod, because that would not be good. So after I do that, I just take a screw. These are pick guard screws, and I just work them down to screw them in the hole that I drilled. Get it in there pretty snug. Find my little block of wood. Then you just take a pliers, just lift it out. Simple as that. Then the hardest part's getting the plastic back off the screw. So that's how I lift them out. Now the clay dots that I'm putting in are a little bit bigger than these, so I'm having to enlarge the holes slightly. Okay, get that out of there. We'll do another one. Sometimes you can actually just pop it out with your hand. It's not that hard. So that's my process of getting those out. And then once you get them out, you want to go through with a little knife or something, clean out the holes, get all the glue, all that stuff out. So much to that besides just, you know, cleaning it out. What I done is took the calipers, measured the dots that I'm putting back in. I don't know, it's hard to tell, but you can kind of see the difference. There's a very little difference in size. Actually using a 1/4 inch bit, and I'm not even putting it in the drill. I'm just kind of using it by hand to just kind of, you know, work these holes out, more or less actually going almost backwards with it more than forward. Using a drill, it'd be real easy to hang and tear a piece out. I had rather just take my time and do it by hand, and that's the reason I'm not going to show all this on camera, is because I want to take my time with this and really get that hole, which I've already done this one here. So that's, it's just time consuming. I don't have the high speed camera capabilities yet. So, but that's how I remove them. I'll get these, and something I want to do while I've got these out is I'm going to put a real dark walnut stain on this fretboard. And it's been a while since I have cleaned and oiled the fretboard, so I'm hoping that the wood's going to take the stain just enough to kind of darken it up to make it look a little darker, like an older neck wood. And I don't want to do that with the inlays in, the new ones in, because I'm afraid it may make them too dark. The clay may absorb the stain a lot more than I want it to, so I'd rather do that before I do the rest of it. And then we have these tuners, and at last video I talked about them and how they weren't the correct. They look correct on the back, but they're not that good of a tuner. I mean, I've gotten by with them, but they side load instead of load from the top, so that's not the right way. So I've got the correct Fender tuner, so I'm going to go ahead and get them installed on here, and make sure all that's going to work out. So that's something I'm going to get to. But let me get the rest of these fret dots out, get that done, maybe put a little stain on it, and we'll go from there. Okay, that's all the markers out. Still a little bit of stuff in there. A little bit of some of the inlay has broken off. Probably actually some of it has came off during installation when they were pressed in. So, I got to go through, like I say, and clean these up a little bit, and then I've actually got to make the holes just a little bit bigger, but I can do that, but first I'm going to try to just put a little of this walnut stain on here just to see how it's going to work out. And that's something I used like on the headstock, the neck, on the guitars, like the Affinities, the Amazon, some of the little Amazon Strat, stuff like that. Some of the PV imports, they don't have a real gloss, clear coat finish so much. There's still a lot of openness to the wood. A lot of times you can use the dark walnut stain and put it on, apply it, and it'll tin it down and make it look a little older if that's what you're after. And if I get any of this on the nut, it isn't going to matter. It's going to just help it look older too. And I've got the sides of the fretboard taped up, so hopefully I can keep any from getting on the neck where I don't want it. And we'll see how that takes. If you've been keeping up with my videos, I got the dumpster Strat that I got, that I'm making the Relic. I'm fixing to do some more work on it. Going to change the saddles, and going to change the block. I actually went ahead and ordered a brass block for it, because when I went to play it, I was highly impressed with it, how it sounded, and nobody can see anything I'm doing. I was highly impressed with how it sounded, and actually I dug those pickups out, and I'm very unorganized at this point because of my shop, but I actually believe the pickups I put in that thing are 50s classic Fender pickups, is what I think they actually ended up being, and it sounds good. But I've got to do some more work on the nut, put the block in it, okay, see if that does anything. But like I say, I can come back and clean these holes up. But while I had the inlays out, I think it's the best time to try to put a little stain on this, just to darken it up a little bit. You know, make it look a little bit older. And that's just one of the things I do. And if it wears off, you know, the stain shouldn't. It should stain. That's what stain does. But, you know, if some of it wears where I play it a lot, besides having black fingers, I'll have, it'll look played then, so. But I'm going to have that video coming up with it, you know, putting the block in, changing the saddles. And what I'm changing the saddles to, if I can find them, here's the block. That's the block. It's, you know, the thinner block to fit the import body. But the trim on this guitar that I took apart to put on this Stevie Ray Vaughan, get rid of this, the saddles, I aged them, which they're the traditional, you know, the old style saddle. Oh, here they are, right in front of me. I aged them a little bit, and I'm going to put them on the Squire, on the dumpster Relic Squire. They're going to go on it rather than those others, which will make it look older, and the gold, it'll kind of look cool, I think. So that's going to be one of the next things I have coming up. So anyway, let me get some of this stuff straight, and we'll be back. Okay, I've let this stain soak in for a while on this neck, wiped off the excess, and, you know, it darkened it up a little, not extreme, which I didn't want it to be extreme, so it darkened it up a little bit. So that's going to kind of help give it just a little more time period, correct looking, you know, tint to it, like an older guitar. So the clay dots should work out, you know, should look really good. So we'll go ahead and tackle these tuners and see if the Fender tuners are going to bolt up, if the holes are the right size and spaced correctly. We're going to find out. just by eyeballing them, they do look to be the same size, so we shall see. But you can see what I'm talking about with these tuners. I mean, no. Like I said in the video before, on any video dealing with these Aliexpress guitars, what I have found is you're buying the neck and the body, pretty much. You'll get by with the output jack cover, pick guard, those little things. But all the hardware, electronics, all that's got to be changed. It's just very, very, and for the price you pay for the body and the neck, it's really probably worth, it's worth what you pay. Because like I say, I give $210 for this one when I bought it several years ago. And I couldn't have bought a neck and the body like that for any less than that. So, and so far there's been nothing crack, warp so far. No problems like that. Okay. Well, these ferrules certainly weren't going to fall out. Let me hassle with these things. Okay, now that I've got these out, what I've ran into is how poorly these holes are drilled. You can kind of see how rough they've just been kind of. Now these I have worked on. This last one, I've actually, worked on it. I'm having to ream it out because these inserts are a little bit bigger. So I'm going to have to ream all these holes out. And the old ferrules are the inside's smaller, so they won't fit. Get the right one. They won't fit the Fender tuners, so I can't use the same ferrules that was in it. So that's everything's an odd size. But if you notice on this Fender tuner, this shaft, I mean it's got very, very little play in it. Very little at all. As where these knockoffs, man, they waller, everywhere. I'll drop one. Let me drop something on the floor again. But they're just very loose. There was several of them that, this one here, for example. Look at that. That's just. But that's the kind of quality you get with these guitars. That's the reason that they're as cheap as they are. That's the kind of quality that you get. That's why if you buy one of these Aliexpress guitars, you can plan on replacing all of that stuff. So I'm going to go ahead, take a reamer and ream these holes out. And that's something I've said in a lot of other videos, is do not use a drill. If you start trying to use a drill, it's going to hang. You might get by with it, but there's a good chance it'll hang. It'll pull pieces out that once you put these ferrules back in, it won't hide it. And, that's not so bad on an old guitar that's a relic guitar. But, if it's something you don't want messed up, you don't want to be tearing a big chunk out of the back. See how that one's done from a factory. kind of got tore out some. So let me get these holes reamed out to where these other tuners will fit on. All right, got that project accomplished. Like I say, using the reamer, clean those holes up, enlarge them holes, not using the drill. You know, these are going to look a whole lot, they already look a whole lot better quality. Got them in there good and snug. So now to see, everything's always a little different. So we'll see if the tuners that we want to go on here, if they're gonna do the job. So they look to be right. These screws are a little bigger, which that'll be fine as long as I can find a screwdriver that's gonna work without stripping them out. I'm a screwdriver, gotta invest in some better screwdrivers. It's a wore out. Just get them down snug. I just really right now wanting to see, just to make sure that they are going to line up and work right. And it looks like they're going to. That's aggravating part about these. Well, all right, let me get these on, and then we'll look at the finished product. Okay, here we are. Got the screws in. Got the real Fender tuners on here. So, you know, I did age them slightly. It don't really even show up. Just a little bit of 800 grit sandpaper. Put them in the acid, or, you know, in the acid fumes just for about 30 minutes. Just enough to dull them ever so slightly, just so it don't look odd. Which, you know, Stevie Ray Vaughan's #1, as it is now, it has the gold tuners, but it's the Fender tuners with like the plastic ivory looking, I don't know exactly what you call it, on the buttons. And I hate those myself. So, you know, when you're doing something like a replica of like Eddie Van Halen's Strat or Stevie Ray Vaughan #1, it just depends on what era you're trying to capture, because these guitars changed over the years so much as time went on. So it just depends. So, okay, we're gonna get back on the fret dots once I get everything, you know, drilled out, cleaned up. But that'll be in the next video. We should be able to wrap this up in the next video and have it all back together. So, but these tuners are a major improvement. I mean, just a major improvement over what was on it. So, hope this was a little bit interesting, entertaining, whatever. You know, if this stuff's interesting, if you hadn't subscribed, I'd appreciate if you'd think about doing that. And, man, I appreciate you guys out here that's subscribed and commenting and becoming part of a little community here. That's really great. I really enjoy that. You know, if you like this, give me a thumbs down. Or no, I think if you like this, you give me a thumbs up. I'm looking down. Up, down. Thumbs up if you thought it was cool. All right, guys, until the next time, see you.